Hi. Since I'm in my space, I actually hadn't planned on coming in to my office today because it is my downtime, but I did a quick reading for a really close and dear friend who just recently lost a loved one, and so here I am. And as it turns out, as I'm in my space, fucking around with my runes, as I'm in my space, and as you can see, Jack has found a place where he could be happy and satisfied, cat shit. Catitude. But as I am in my space, I feel my mood lifting and I want to do a reading, especially with in this turbulent time. Let's talk eclipses. So eclipses, in eclipse season, I know that I'm going to sound like the biggest astrological trope ever, but we are truly going through it and there is timing. And, I feel like from December, January-ish to now, essentially, or like 2 weeks ago, I feel like it was smooth sailing because we weren't in any retrogrades. It wasn't eclipse season, but it was a time of neutrality. It was a time to either build things or just to be neutral in where we stood. But right now, with the first eclipse, the full moon in Libra, and I feel like Virgo energy in there somewhere too. It's like, I feel like it just came out of Virgo into Libra, but I feel like there's a little bit of like both energies in this eclipse, because a lot of it comes down to like making lists, pros and cons, which is very like Libra-esque, or I'm sorry, it's very Virgo-esque. Anyway, eclipses will often generate chaos and I wouldn't say destruction, but like basically tower moments in our lives, because it is meaning to either shake the foundation and see if there's anything left on the foundation, see if it breaks. Anything that drops off that foundation isn't meant for you anymore. And if that foundation breaks, it just means that you need to build a new one. The one thing that's been coming up a lot in my readings with people recently is, and I'm finding this a lot with light workers particularly, is that I get the tower moment for all of them. But it's not like a bad tower moment. It's like a, hey, and I get the same, my spirit guides like send me the same image. Like, hey, they need to build, like right now they have a concrete foundation and they need to like detonate it, get rid of it, and build a bamboo one. And the reason being is because their foundation is too strict, too solid. And it needs, like in the direction that we are moving towards as a humanity, as a species, it needs to be a little bit more flexible. And that comes down to family systems, relationships, belief systems, whatever that is, you need to open up a bit and be a little bit more flexible into it. And for me, right now, I've got a moon in Libra and a couple other planets in Libra. And since this full moon is in Libra, this eclipse is in Libra, it's teasing out a lot of narratives that I knew that I had resolved, but they're changing. So for example, as most people know me, I live in an RV full-time, old girl, OG for short. She's a 68 Avion. And I've loved it and I've been in there for 3 years, but it's time to stretch my legs and do something different, something bigger. And I've been feeling that. I talked to my guides, it's like happening at the end of the summer. And so the one thing I'm doing is I'm like actually torn between 2 places where I could possibly live until I move. And I'm also putting her up for sale next week, which is like really bittersweet because I've had some incredible moments. And I'll be honest with you, like I really want to just take her on the road and just say fuck it and fuck around until August 31st, but I also built a business and have to show up for it. And also I'd miss my clients too much and my friends. But it's like I miss the open road, and that was the whole point of getting the Avion, is to have that adventure and flexibility. Anyway, so Libra is about home, it's my 6th house, it's like home, family, relationships. And right now I'm being pulled in several different directions, not knowing where I'm going to go after that, but just knowing it doesn't fit now. Same thing with my business, is that I'm making some changes with that. Interpersonal relationships are getting shaken up as well. I don't talk about this a lot to many people, but I am exploring sobriety. And I am going on 3 months at this point, and it's been awesome, and also has I've let go a lot of things, and so like that's been really hard. Like my interactions with people, I loved like just blowing off steam when I was done with my readings, and I can't do the same that I used to. But I will say this is that once I made that decision, my intuition was like boop, like it was crazy. It just took off. So anyway, I see I'm at 5 minutes. I want to do a reading for everyone who's going through these massive changes all at once, and that's what I feel like I'm doing, is that like I made all these decisions, but now my life is like, I see that you're trying, let's like shake up this foundation. I feel like I've busted it up, but they're like, let's build this bamboo one and see what falls off of it and what stays. And that is a pretty terrifying feeling for me, trying to make my life, you know, as a person, as a light worker, and also holding space. It can be a little dismantling. So for anyone who's going through the same thing, I want to do a reading. So current energy, Manas, which is higher self. You know, what's funny is I've been fighting doing meditations lately. This is my downtime. I haven't read in like a week and a half, but I haven't been doing my meditations as much as I would have liked to because I'm trying to deal with like 3D shit. But your guides, or my guides, are telling us that we need to go into our higher selves during this time to take our brains out of it. Our brains are only going to make us feel like a failure, or it's going to make us feel crazy, which has definitely been my narrative this week. But go into your higher self and see how she shows up for you. That's the best way forward. Your challenge is joy, which I can feel wholeheartedly, is that I've taken, all right, this isn't my reading, I'm just like go into it. Your challenge is feeling joy. And that is the biggest thing, is that sometimes like disattaching, like when you are in chaos, when you are in transition, sometimes the hardest part is like going into that place of pure joy, and celebrating the good things that are happening for you. And I think if we all take a step back collectively, we'll see that, you know, things aren't as scary as they look, and that there is like a method to all the madness to put you on the path to where you're going. The outcome of stepping into your joy is stillness. That makes a lot of sense. When you are, I'm surprised I didn't pull Hagalaz, which would have been appropriate, which is the tower rune equivalent of the runes. But while you and your guides are dismantling this foundation that you tried so hard to build, whether it was like with the best of intentions, but this foundation isn't good for you anymore, or it's just not serving like where you're going, you know, the best part of it is that like, you know, you kind of like have to lean into it and let it happen. And the more that you fight it, the more it's going to really fuck up your life. But that said, if you're able to get into your brain, get out of your brain, get into your higher self, show up for yourself in the best way possible. I know that's a really big challenge because, you know, it's like I've cried a lot this week, and it's been really hard to be in my higher self when I'm so right here. But one of the things that I did this week was like I actually like went to a creek and I stuck my head in it and I like immersed my whole head, you know, to get myself to stop crying basically. And I, you know, I just like got myself somatically in my body, and then it was almost like everything like felt like the world like righted itself. And so try to find ways to be more mindful, like to be both present in your body and to be mindful. Wunja, which is joy, is that it's almost like that going to a stream, you know, on a sunny day, dipping your toes and being in nature, breathing the highly ionized air. It's like find ways to just like, you know, get past that block of taking care of yourself and being happy and experiencing joy. Like don't be the victim in it. And the outcome of that is stillness, which is like allowing yourself to go still, which is what you really need to do when that post-eclipse energy is just like rocking your world in a way. So I hope this helped, but I'll be honest with you, like it's, you know, I think that a lot of people are feeling it in different ways. I'm curious to see how you're feeling it. So if you want to reply in comments on how this lunar eclipse has been for you, I'd love to hear it. So hang in there, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.